Hello, welcome back to Suburban Hunt 365. I'm DJ. We are back in the reloading room again today. And today's video was actually prompted by a very patient subscriber. John, I'll throw you a comment up here. I really do appreciate your patience. I know you put a comment down on a couple different videos. I apologize for your wait, but it is over. Today, we will be doing, as requested, the Power Belt ELRs. This is a 250 grain projectile. Now you can see these are black. Guys, if you are getting these from somewhere, anywhere, and they are blue, that is the 45 caliber. Don't use those. I guess unless you got a Sabo that you're throwing in there, but I digress. The black ones are the 50 cal. The blues are the 45 caliber. So we will be doing that. For those of you that may not know, what we're doing is the pellet challenge here on this channel, which is as follows. We are going to take a 777 pellet, 50 grain pellet. We're going to be using 100 and 150 grains. We're going to be follow that up with the Pyrex, also 100 and 150 grains. Then we're looking at the white hots. White hots, 100 and 150 grain. Now the Fire Stars, as I'm sure many of you know, these are 33 grain pellets. We'll be using a 3 pellet load for the 100 and then using a 4 pellet load to mimic the 150 grain challenge. So then moving on to last but certainly not least is the 777 Magnums. These are a 60 grain pellet. We'll be using 2 pellets on that test. So we will be shooting at 100 yards and we will be using my Ultima V2 LR. This has the Conus 3-9 by 40 scope on top of it. That came from Walmart. And we will be using the Federal 209A primers to make it all go bang. So guys, I want to address one of the comments that I seem to be getting a lot is, do you clean between shots? The answer is no. I clean between the groups. The reason behind that is because I want to see the follow-up shots. How's the gun going to react in a follow-up shot situation? And that may not mean that I miss. It may be that I'm out hunting, I hunt in the morning, I kill a doe, and I'm sitting in the stand and I'm waiting for another doe, or I'm waiting for a buck or whatever in the stand. I'm not going to clean my rifle in the stand. So if I'm in a situation where I can make multiple shots, how is this going to react? That's what I want to see. Okay, so without any further ado guys, let's go ahead and let's see how the 777 100 grain does. Okie dokie. All right, well that came in at a 5.5 inch group that you can see there. Not an awesome way to start this out, but we have seen worse. And looking real quick, the ELR 330s did a 3-inch group in comparison. Now we'll go later when we get to the data sheet, we'll do the direct comparison for all these. But the ELR's 330 grain started at a 3-inch group and went from there, whereas this one's starting with a 5.5 inch group. So let's see if we can't get better from there. Let's go ahead and do the 777 150 grain. Oh, okay, that is a 4 3/4 inch group. Not great. It did better. It did better. But so we got 5.5 and we got 4 3/4. I'm really hoping we break this trend, otherwise we're definitely pining for a lower end projectile with these 250s, which is interesting seeing that the 330s did better. So this is really going to be a weight comparison because same gun, same primers, pellets are the same in each test. So really the only difference is the 330 grain versus the 250. But again, we'll get deeper into that once we hit the data sheet. So moving forward, let's go ahead and let's look at our Pyrex 100 grains. All right, there we go. Now we're getting much better. That is a 2 1/4 inch group. That's a group that I can handle. That's a group that I wouldn't mind taking out into the woods. So Pyrex 100 grains, really bringing that back in for us at a 2 1/4 inch group. And I do love seeing them when they're that tight. For the muzzleloader, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So let's see if we can't make it even a little bit tighter with the 150 grains Pyrex. All right, there we go. That last projectile did jump off the target there. Well, not the target, but the circle. So it did jump outside of that, but yet again, we have a 2 1/4 inch group. So that's pretty interesting to have the 100 and the 150 grain give us the exact same group. So for me, that really means that if I, with expansion out of the equation, okay, because I know everybody's like, you're doing another power belt, DJ, why are you doing another power belt? But with expansion out of the equation, if I'm going to use 100 or 150 grains, I would rather have less of a kick on my shoulder and use the 100 grains. But as I mentioned before, I do plan on doing some ballistics gel testing because everybody and their brother says get away from power belt because they don't expand. I'm curious to see, is there a point when the power belts actually do expand? So, but that's in a different video later in the future, but one that I do want to get to because I really want to answer that for myself as well. But I digress. That is not this video. This video is about the Power Belt ELR 250s. So let's go ahead. We've got two back-to-back 2 1/4 inch groups, looking pretty good so far. Let's go ahead and let's move into white hots, 100 grains. Okay, there's another respectable group in there. That third one kind of went off a little bit to the left there, and some of you guys have made comments about that. Well, it seems like that third one always gets a little squirrely. But there again, guys, I want to see how it's going to react as we shoot with that, what is now a dirty barrel, right? So that, even with that barrel, came in a 2 3/4 inch group, guys. I can use that. You can use that. You know, that's pretty good. A little bit wider, but still definitely usable. So let's keep going and let's see how the white hot 150 grain does. Oh, nice. I love it when they do that. All right, I'm going to play this a little bit slower for you guys. You have 1, you have 2, and 3. 2 and 3. Oh, I love it. Right on top of each other for the second and third shot. Which shots like these, groups like these rather, that you got people that are like, you have to shoot around, you have to waste around to foul the barrel to shoot. I usually don't. I say usually, I don't, because I'm not going to waste the material. I go through enough material just by doing these tests. I'm not wasting one to make the barrel fouled and or dirty. But again, I digress, guys. I got to quit going on these tangents. That came in, I believe, at, yes, a 2 3/8 inch. So actually better than the 100 grain white hots did. So that one might be worth taking a little bit more of a kick to get that. But 2 3/8 inch, guys, definitely can work with that. So let's keep moving on and let's see how the Fire Stars do with a 3 pellet charge. Okay, we're just lining up groups today. That is a 2 1/4 inch. That is the third 2 1/4 inch group. That's pretty awesome. And I do love when you got 1, 2, and then 3. You got 2 of those right on top of each other, but we've got it in a 2 1/4 inch group. So let's keep going. Let's hope this trend continues with the Fire Star 4 pellet charge. Oh, I hope I didn't jinx that. Pushing it a little bit past. That is a 3 1/2 inch group there. That first one did land above the target there, and the other 2 in the actual target. Usually that's why the 150 grain charge tends to jump a little bit, or in this case the 4 pellet charge. So that's why I usually have it on the bottom target, just in case it sails over and hits that top target, which in this case it did. But again, a 3 1/2 inch group, still usable. Not awesome, but still usable. So hopefully I didn't speak too soon. Let's see if we can go back to that 2 inch range with the 777 Magnums. Well, dang. No, we didn't go down. We did go down a little bit. That is a 3 1/4 inch group, as opposed to 3 1/2 that we just had. But it's 3 1/2. But what I like though is it is dancing around that bullseye. It is just absolutely dancing around that bullseye. And let's get into the data. So we are over here at the left. We are in fact shooting the 250 grain ELRs, and you'll see just below it is the 330 grains down there. Well, just below the 290 coppers anyway. So going across, so we have a 777 grain at a 5.5. We had a 3-inch group with the ELRs. So 2.5 inches better with the ELR 350s. We had with the 250s, we had a 4 3/4, where we had a 1 before. Big difference there. And then now we're getting to splitting hairs, because the Pyrodex 100 grain did a 1/4 this time. The 330s had a 1.5 right on top of each other. The 150 grains also had a 2 1/4 with the 250s, but then we had a 2-inch group with the 330s. So those two are really comparable right there. They're right on top of each other. Then you get into the white hots. The white hots, we had a 2 3/4 inch group today, whereas we had a 2-inch group with the 330 grains. And then we had a 2 3/8 inch, so just below a half, with the 150 grains of white hots with the 250s. But then with the 330s, we had a 2 1/4. So consecutively so far, my gun likes the 330s better than the 250s. Again, these are both ELRs. They're both 50 cals. They're both going through the pellet test, and they both got used. They both used the 209A primers. So it's just showing that my particular rifle seems to like these heavier projectiles. So getting into the 777 Firestar 3 pellets, we have a 2 1/4. We have a 2-inch. So 250 was 2 1/4. 330s was a 2-inch. The Firestar 4 pellets, 250 grains was a 3.5 inch group, and the 330 grains was a 2 3/4. There again, it's just showing that my gun likes the heavy projectiles. And then we move over here to, last but not least, is the 777 Magnums 2 pellet charge. The 250s had a 3 1/4 inch, and the 330s had a 2 5/8 inch. So pretty consistent across the board as far as which one did better with what pellets. As we change the pellets, you can kind of see it ebb and flow with that projectile. The same, or at least similar, between the 250s and the 330s, but consistently the 330s gave me a tighter group. Okay, so again, this video is about the 250, so let's look at the 250. The 250's average today, 3.208, which is almost the worst power belt that we have. The only ones that did worse was the 338 grain platinums. But looking on the other end of that spectrum, the ELRs in the 330s was the best so far group that I've gotten out of all the power belts. So we are actually comparing the 250 grain to the best power belt, or the most accurate power belt that I've shot through my particular rifle. So, but how does that do overall? Well, let's scoot over here one more time, and as it would be, that came in 19th place. Okay, so we have 19th place. Now the ELRs, 330 grain ELRs, came in 3rd overall out of everything, but the 250s fell down to 19th. So we'll go down here to the bottom of our chart here, and we'll actually go through the list. Well, we won't go through the list, but you can see the 250 grain highlighted there at 19th place, just between the 250 grain ballistic extremes and the 338 grain platinums, as I mentioned earlier. So 19th out of 25. That is now the 25th projectile that we ran through this challenge, and it is 19th. So DJ, would you use the 250 grain ELRs? Well, not really. Not when I've got so many other projectiles that I can use. Even in the power belt, I can use a 330 grain ELR and actually harvest pretty well with the 330 grain ELRs. Now, again, the power belts do have a bad reputation for not expanding, so I am going to try to see about getting the gel block thing started and see what speeds start expansion, or do they start expansion before the pressures get too much for the gun. I'm not going to destroy my gun testing that, but we can check it out. So guys, if you're stuck with us this far, I greatly appreciate you. Truly cannot thank you enough. John, thank you so much for your comment and your patience in getting this video out to you. Guys, if you have been with us, we thank you for being with us. Guys, if you haven't already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Really help us out, guys. This channel's starting to move. I love seeing it, and we want you to join what we're doing here, guys, on this channel. And as always, please comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video and other videos like it. Let me know that last week's video when I was hunting was way too shaky and I need to buy me another mount when I go deer hunting. It's already on order, guys. But let me know. Talk to me. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. So guys, from Suburban Hunt 365, I'm DJ. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you on the next one.